Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Goddess LaLa, Spiritual Advisor and Tarot Card Readings. Welcome my soul tribe, and welcome my newbies, my new people. Make sure you subscribe so you will be notified of my new videos. And today I'm going to do another great video. This one is another celebrity video. Sometimes I do tarot card readings for celebrities. Or topics on celebrities, whether they're alive or passed away. But this will be the first time I'm going to do a tarot card reading for a celebrity that has passed away. So I guess you would say I will be a medium, and I do also have the gift of vision. I also can hear from the other side, so that I have experience in hearing from the other side, as far as from my passed on ancestors and my family. So I do have the gift of vision and the gift of hearing from the other side. In this celebrity topic that I'm going to do is Whitney Houston. Yes, Whitney Houston. Bless Whitney Houston's soul. Bless Whitney Houston's soul, Lord. And the reason why I'm going to do this topic in the name of Yeshua Christ about Whitney Houston is because December 23rd, 2022, this year, they came out with a Whitney Houston motion picture movie. I just recently found out that they made a Whitney Houston motion picture about Whitney Houston. That would be the first major motion picture movie made about Whitney Houston that came out December 23rd, right before Christmas. Yes, and they have done other documentaries on Whitney Houston, her life and her death, but this will be the first motion picture, as far as in the movies that I know of. Now, they have did, like Lifetime did a movie, Lifetime Cable Channel did a movie on Whitney Houston's life. But this will be something from her sister-in-law, Pat Houston, that she helped to make this movie about Whitney Houston. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if I want to see it, because from the casting don't look right. You know what I'm saying? Bless the women, that they chose, but it's something strange how this cast that they got for the woman played Robin, which was Whitney Houston's friend and former personal assistant. They're trying to hype this lesbian thing about Whitney Houston, and then they the woman that they got playing Robin, because Robin really wasn't in Whitney Houston's life, as far as I know. As far as her famous life, she wasn't really in it that much. She was in her younger life, but not much. But either way, the casting, the woman that they chose, it's like they put extra dark makeup on her. She was dark skinned, but they put extra dark makeup on her to make it seem as if black women or African American women are lesbian, like a stereotype, which is not true. Black women love black men. Most black women love a man, regardless what race. Most black women that I know of are not lesbian. I'm a black woman. I'm not lesbian. Okay, but most black women are not lesbian. Now, people might have child experiences, things like that, but I don't count childhood experiences as something as being lesbian or homosexual. But either way, this will be a tarot card reading, so I will give more insight about the death on Whitney Houston. Was she actually killed, or was it a real accidental death? Okay, and if I pause in between this video That's because I'm getting downloads, and I'm thinking, and you know, I'm thinking and interpreting the downloads that I'm getting, and what to say and what I'm thinking, and what's coming to me that I'm hearing in my vision. So if I pause, bear with me, continue to listen and watch to the end. I will also give my Goddess LaLa cards of confirmation right here. Also, I have my Goddess LaLa tarot cards that I'm going to use. Okay, so stay for my confirmation cards at the end. And like I said, I may pause for a bit because I'm getting more downloads or insight to the reading. All right. I already said a prayer before the video. I'm going to say a little bit more prayer. Dear Lord, bless me to give a proper tarot card reading for Whitney Houston. Help us and to get more insight about her death, what really happened to her in that hotel at the Beverly Hilton in Los Angeles, California. What happened? Was it a Illuminati hit, or was it accidental? Was it natural? Whitney Houston, if you want to speak through us and to me through this video to give insight to your fans and people that may want to know. Allah, it's great. Thank you. I rebuke any evil spirits that may try to come through the video, through this reading. I rebuke any haters or any devils away from this reading for Whitney Houston. I say that's significant. That my feather blew. The cards blew the feather. That's significant. The devil spirits, evil spirits is gone. So don't worry about that. Yes. I'm sure that blew my feather. Feather is very good and significant for a blessing from the Lord and for good luck. The bird feather. Yes, Whitney Houston. What is it you want us to know, Whitney Houston? About your death, what happened? What is it you want me to say? What is it you want me, Goddess LaLa, to say in this reading? Thank you. And bless me and help me and my channel. Thank you. And everyone watching, please like and subscribe to support my channel. Whitney Houston, what is it you want me to say? Also, I will be giving my comments in between. My personal opinion and comments in between. Also, I will give some links in the description box for more information about this reading, about Whitney Houston. Some links, I will put it in the description box and you can take a look at it if you like. About Whitney Houston. Donations are accepted to support my channel also. Please look at my description box. Cash App, PayPal accepted. And thank you for your help. Whitney Houston, what is it you want to say? The cards are laid out. Give me the insight. Also, before I read the cards, I'm going to give you some insight on Whitney Houston for people that don't know much about her. Whitney Houston died February 2012 at 48 years old. She was found floating in water in a bathtub at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, 2012, February. At that hotel, the Beverly Hilton Hotel, Clive Davis was having a pre-Grammy party. It was a party for the pre-Grammys. So it really was a party about the Grammys. Look, confirmation. It was a party about the Grammys, but Clive Davis was giving a party before the Grammys. So the Grammys didn't have nothing to do with Clive Davis. Well, I'm not going to say that. The Grammy was already separate from the party. Okay, but Clive Davis had his own pre-party before the Grammy. Okay, before the Grammys, Clive Davis, which was Whitney Houston's record producer, and he owned Arista Records, allegedly. I'm gonna say allegedly for this reading, just in case. But he owned I believe he's the owner of Arista Records, or either a major producer. And he's very rich. Clive Davis, he decided to have a party at the Beverly Hilton Hotel right before the Grammys. And she was only 48 years old. That's still young. She had just finished a movie called Sparkle a few months before she died. And the movie was very popular and very liked among African American people, and other people too, I assume, liked the movie too. But especially African Americans really liked that movie Sparkle, the last movie motion picture that she did. Okay, now in between I may pause the video. Also in the link I'm gonna have a link, or you may hear music. That song that is running through my mind, it's been running through my mind this morning ever since I heard about and watched about the motion picture movie that Pat Houston helped to make. She's the main one that helped with the casting. Now, as far as her writing the movie and all that, I'm sure she had some input for it, because she was doing some advertisement for the movie. Okay, allegedly. All right, and also I will put this song. It was on my mind after I heard about the motion picture for Whitney Houston. The song just came into my mind, "Run to You" by Whitney Houston. I'm gonna put that song in my description box also for a link, and it's very significant for this movie. It's very significant for the reading, the tarot card reading. It sure is, because when you watch the video, it's deep. If you hear the music in the background, I do not own the rights to the song. It is by Whitney Houston, sung by Whitney Houston. Now let me go ahead and get started with the tarot card reading. I was busy trying to play the song and possibly separated the video, but that's okay. Make sure you watch both videos if I can't combine it together. Yeah, because I had the first video would be of me shuffling the cards and praying. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this tarot card reading. Whitney Houston, let me know. One moment. Like I said, if I pause, I am downloading. Okay, Whitney Houston. The Three of Wands card. And also the Emperor card in reverse. Whitney Houston. She was very businesslike. She had strength. She was very businesslike. She had strength in trade and business. She was very popular. Whitney Houston. She had strength, practical knowledge. She had wisdom in business. She knew how to be a star. She knew how to be a wisdom. It was innate in her to be a star. It was God-given talent for her to sing, but it was also her business to be a star. She had great business acumen. The Emperor in reverse, she had people around her that was a weak character. Someone that was a weak character, that they wanted to make her weak. They were immature. Someone around her that they couldn't control their petty emotions. I'm going to see who this person is in a minute. Continue to Stay to the end. The Two of Cups card for this reading, Whitney Houston. She was in love. She still had love for Bobby Brown. The Two of Cups card. She never did remarry after she divorced Bobby Brown. She still had love for him. Love, friendship. Friendship renewed. They lost the friendship, but they did renew it before she died. I'm sensing. Marriage and harmony. That's what she wanted. She was so sad that she wasn't married anymore to Bobby Brown. I believe that she let the marriage go because of the drug addiction she was on and he was on together, and also because I believe that the record company she was with allegedly told her that she need to let Bobby go because Bobby was had a lot of problems in the court and in the law. And they was telling her to let Bobby go. They wanted her to be this pop white figure. They didn't want her to be this wife, black wife with the black husband figure. They didn't want that. But they still had harmony of opposites. Bobby and Whitney were soulmates. I'm sensing. I believe they were soulmates. They are soulmates. They had a lot of passion and union in their marriage. They had a long engagement first and then a marriage. It wasn't that long, but it was long enough for them to fall in love and build their bond together. They both look alike. If you look at them, both of them look alike. They're soulmates. Soulmates usually look alike. And they look alike. They usually have personalities alike too. King of Wands in reverse for this Whitney Houston tarot card reading. Let me see. The Page of Coins in reverse. People didn't like them being together. The Sun card in reverse. Somebody deliberately harmed Whitney Houston, I believe. I believe somebody deliberately killed Whitney Houston. Allegedly. They did it deliberately. It was a man that physically did it. The man probably wasn't the one who decided to kill her, but it was a man that actually did the murder. That's what the tarot card reading is saying. And I have to say allegedly because she was a very rich person and she still got rich people that's over her money. So allegedly for everything in this video. But I'm sensing this person was very severe, dogmatic, deliberate, intolerance, somewhat excessive. They wanted money. That's why it's saying somewhat excessive. They were severity. They didn't care about her life. Severity. Whoever actually physically, when I mean physically killed her, I meant they put hands on her. Whoever actually killed her, they were severe. The King of Wands is saying it. They were severity. They had authority. It was somebody powerful. Somebody they were severe. Dogmatic. They were loose in a dog. They didn't care. They was excessive. They had money. They wanted to keep money. Intolerance. They didn't have no care or tolerance for nobody. They were severity. Whoever put hands on her in that tub. She was in the tub. I'm sensing they killed her in the tub. What else? What else, Whitney Houston? One moment. Let me read the cards. If my voice changes, please bear with me. It's part of, I guess, being a medium and downloading. Even when I do tarot card readings, my voice changes because I'm very empathetic. I'm what they call empathy. I'm an empath. Okay, one moment. Yeah. Whitney Houston, their marriage did break up. Saying broken marriage, broken engagement. She was unhappy. Bobby Brown, he still was unhappy even after the broken engagement. It's telling me that he was unhappy about the broken marriage he had to Whitney Houston. He was lonely still, even though he had another woman. He still had loneliness. You can see it on his face now that he's not the same. You can tell that he's unhappy. The card's saying unhappiness. You can tell he had a lot of unhappiness. You can see he had a lot of unhappiness. You can still see it, even ever since they divorced, and even now, 2020, the end of 2022, and possibly 2023. You can see it on his face, the unhappiness. The card saying unhappiness, loneliness. Bobby Brown's still lonely and unhappy because of the Whitney Houston dying. He can't even talk to her no more because she's dead. But he was unhappy. It started, the unhappiness with Bobby Brown started even more because of the divorce. And he's still unhappy after her death. He has loneliness. He feels loneliness because of the broken marriage. It was canceled. They had the lack of friendship. He don't have friendship even no more. They were good friends, but the friendship waned. Bobby Brown, that's why he had the clouded future after the divorce. Clouded future for him. Lack of friendship. He misses Whitney's friendship. That's what that's what the Sun card in reverse is telling me. I'm sensing Bobby didn't have nothing to do with her death. He loved her. He's unhappy. He's lonely without her. The Page of Pentacles in reverse. One moment. Somebody around her was very rebellious and wastefulness. They was wasting her money. I'm sensing Whitney Houston found out about these people wasting her money. This is after she had cleared up from her, this is after she had already cleared up from her drug addictions. She started to realize somebody wasting her money. She was in a lot of debt. She owed money. Family was dependent on her. Her family were dependent on her. She paid them. She paid her sister-in-law, Pat Houston. She paid her sister-in-law, Pat Houston, as a manager. She was her manager. And also her brother's wife, her sister-in-law, Pat Houston. She was wasting Whitney Houston money. Whitney Houston began to find that out. She didn't want Pat Houston to be her manager anymore in her later years, on her last albums and stuff before she died. She possibly had a new manager, allegedly. She got tired of them wasting her money and family begging her for money. Just like her father has sued her, somebody put in his mind to sue her for $100 million. Be sure to look at the links in my video, and also you can watch other videos for more insight about Whitney Houston's family issues. One moment. Okay, Two of Swords card. Whitney Houston made a truce with Bobby Brown before she died. They had a truce. They had harmony together. People didn't like that her and Bobby Brown was beginning to be friends again before she died. Harmony, balanced force, affection, truce, courtesy, firmness, offsetting factors. She had offsetting factors. People was trying to offset their relationship. They didn't like it. They didn't like the truth, and that they were friends again. They didn't like that they were respectful to each other. Tact is necessary to maintain peace. She maintained the peace with Bobby Brown possibly because of their daughter, Bobby Christina. Six of Swords in reverse, and the Hermit card in reverse. Whitney was coming out. She was coming out. She was being active. Her career was coming back up, especially because of that movie, Sparkle. Her career was starting to blow up. Cause that movie Sparkle she was in blew up. She blew up with the black community, and I'm sensing the Illuminati didn't like that she was starting to blow up with the black community again. Because at the beginning they didn't want her to sing soul music. At the beginning they liked that she was a pop figure. They on some of the videos, documentaries I heard about Whitney Houston, 1985 was around the time when she came out with her first major song in 1985. And she was also, I feel that she was the first soul singer to turn pop and top the charts with a pop song, with pop music. People love Whitney Houston. They loved her, even though the pop music, the black community didn't really take to the pop music that well, because the black community, we was used to R&B and the soul music and the rap music at that time, and R&B singers, with soul music, the soul sound, the rhythm and blues sound. We was used to that. We was used to the hip hop sound. We weren't used to the pop rock sound. But 1985 was the beginning of the record companies trying to switch over to soul music and R&B music to make the artists sing pop music, pop rock music. They wanted to change the people. They always wanted to change African American people. Ever since slavery, they changed us. Ever since slavery, that they made us come to America. Ever since slavery, they stripped the African Americans of their culture. They stripped the African Americans of their language, their culture. By the way, happy Kwanzaa. They stripped the African Americans of their family, their culture, their music, everything. They tried to, but African Americans still kept their culture in their soul. They couldn't strip us of their soul. Soul was in our soul. Music was in our soul. Families in our soul. Culture is in our soul. They can't strip that. It's in our soul. But they've been trying ever since slavery. Ever since slavery in the 1600s and the 1500s, the Europeans and the white ancestors and their white descendants have been trying to strip the African Americans of their natural abilities and their culture. They made them change the names. They couldn't even keep the African names. They couldn't even speak African language no more. They tried to they changed some of their religion, but they couldn't change their soul. Like I said, they couldn't change their worship. We was automatically religious. We not religious, but spiritual is the word I meant. We was already spiritual in Africa even before the white folks was even alive. Okay, just letting you know from my Goddess LaLa opinion. But like I was saying about Whitney Houston, 1985, that was the beginning of the change of the R&B and soul music for black artists, African American artists in the black community. But Whitney topped it because we adopted Whitney as a black woman, a young black woman at the time. I think she was only around 19 or 20 at the time when she topped the charts in 1985 with the first pop song, I Want to Dance with Somebody. Oh, I want to dance with somebody. I want to feel the heat with somebody. Yes, I want to dance with somebody. with somebody who loves me. So we still liked the song, but we didn't really like the music that well because it was pop. It had to grow on us, okay? But we still liked the Whitney. Her first song she came out, it had the first album. As a matter of fact, that song I was the one that danced with somebody that loved me. That was her second album. The first album, I believe, was when she sung that song "Saving All My Love for You." It had more of a little bit soul sound, but it on the documentary about the producers, the black producers said that the first version of the song "Saving All My Love" was a very bluesy, soulful song. It sounded so soulful, but Clive Davis said, "No, go back, redo it again, because it sounded too black." Clive Davis said the song, the first version of the song "Saving All My Love" was too black. It had too much soul music to it. He told him go back and switch it up and make the song sound more pop. That's what he told him. And that's what the record producer said. That's what he said to do. And they went back and changed it, made it a little more pop for Clyde's liking. Clive Davis, allegedly. And the white folks liked it. So the white folks liked it. Also, some black folks liked it, and so her albums was on the charts. But it didn't sell like her first album. The first album, when she sounded a little more soul. Like I said, even though they made it pop, that song, "Saving All My Love," it had more soul than the second album had. Okay, but the second album, that's when the black folks started saying she sounded too pop. They didn't like that white music. And she started trying to look more white. They put light makeup on her face on the video, and a lot of long extensions in her hair for that video. If you don't know, go look at that both of them videos. From the first video, "Saving All My Love," how she looked then, she looked more natural and black. Then the second video that she did, "I Want to Dance with Somebody." She sold, another fact about her, Whitney Houston sold 170 million albums in her lifetime, possibly more than that. And another thing I heard on the documentary, one of them that I heard about Whitney Houston, the first recorded song that she actually did that was on the album was when she was 14 years old. 14 is 7-7. 7 plus 7 equals 14. 7 is the Lord's number. So she was protected and blessed from the beginning from God. Okay? God gave her fame. God gave her talent. Okay? She's 14 years old when she sung with her mama. She was singing in clubs, come to find out. She was singing in clubs with her mama because her mama had a group. Her mama was singing in clubs, possibly seedy clubs. Some of them seedy, some nice rich clubs, but in New York. She had Whitney Houston singing with her at 14 years old in the New York clubs and bars. Okay? But her mother, Sister Houston, had an album, and it was produced by this man, some white man named Michael Zager. And one of the songs, it was a song called "Let's All Chant." And I remember that song as a child. And I'm going to sing it a little bit. I may not be the best singer, but I do have a nice voice, I think. I'm going to sing it. And so you can remember this song. She was 14 years old. She was a background singer for her mama, Sissy Houston's album. Okay? And she was on this song, "Let's All Chant." It's called "Let's All Chant." And the song goes, "My body, your body, everybody is your body. My body, your body, everybody is your body. Yeah, remember that? That was a great song. We used to love and dance after that on that song. Sometimes we did like certain kind of pop songs, but it had to have a beat to it, a hip beat to it. We didn't dance to any pop song. It had to have some kind of beat, a rhythm to it. And I remember I liked that song. I didn't know it was a black woman album, black women singing on it. But it sounded good. Whitney Houston, no wonder it sounded like that because she was a child. She was 14 years old singing in the background. She was singing in the chorus in the background singing, my body, your body, everybody is your body. And this song is significant. I'm going to say why it's significant. That first song she did that was her first song on a major album with a record company. I'm going to tell you why that song, Let's Chant. And when I'm saying chant, C-H-A-N-T, chant. It's called Let's All Chant. I'm going to tell you why that song is significant to me in this tarot card reading about Whitney Houston and her death. Stay to the end to hear it all. One moment. I'm sensing, because these cards are six of swords are saying somebody Whitney Houston knew had an unwanted proposal, stalemate, confessions. He heard confessions. I'm sensing this is Bobby Brown. I'm sensing that Whitney Houston asked Bobby Brown to get back with her. That was an unwanted proposal. I'm sensing Whitney Houston asked Bobby Brown to marry her again before she died. Now, I don't know if Bobby was already married to somebody else when she died. I'm thinking that he was still single. He wasn't married when she died. I'm sensing. I don't know for sure, but that's what I think. I remember that he probably knew his wife he got now. He probably knew her before she died. He knew her before Whitney Houston died, but they wasn't married yet. Okay, but this card right here telling me Six of Swords is telling me unwanted proposal, confessions. Bobby Brown heard confessions from Whitney Houston that she still was in love with him and she wanted him back. She possibly asked her to marry him again, but it was an unwanted proposal by Bobby Brown, and that broke her heart. It was an unwanted proposal. Bobby Brown was listening to bad business advice. He was still being immature, listening to other people about Whitney Houston. Foolish act. The Hermit card in reverse saying foolish act. Hastiness, bad business advice. Failure resulted from inactivity. He failed because he didn't act on Whitney Houston's proposal. Now I'm not saying proposal as far as like she asked him to marry. I meant proposal. She probably did ask him, let's get married again. Yeah, he listened to bad business advice. He thought it might not be good in his and for his business or his his trade, his music trade, to be back with Whitney Houston after everything they've been through and how they slandered and ridiculed them in the public in their relationship. They ridiculed their relationship and talked about their relationship and rumored about their relationship ever since they first got married. They got married, I believe it was what year was that? I can't remember. But they were married a while. One moment. Whitney Houston filed for divorce 2006. They were divorced legally 2007. But as far as how long they were married, I didn't look that up. But I believe that's why Whitney didn't marry nobody else. She didn't hardly date nobody else that we know of after that divorce. And I'm sensing in my cards is telling me, Whitney is telling me, downloads telling me that it's saying that she, she asked him, Bobby Brown, she asked him, will they get married again? But Bobby Brown, to him, it was a unwanted proposal. Stalemate. He probably told her yeah, but he delayed her. He gave her a stalemate. She confessed to him her love. He gave her a stalemate, meaning he didn't make a move. It said no immediate solution to present difficulties. He didn't give no solution to the difficulties that she was feeling. The Hermit card in reverse. Rashness, immaturity. He was being immature, listening to everybody else. See? He was listening to everybody else. He was being immature. He was being hasty and told her no, he don't think that they should get married again. He don't want to marry her again. He pushed her away. They possibly were still having sex, but they did not. Yeah, she was seducing him right there. The Page of Cups in reverse saying seduction. They still were involved, even though they weren't married anymore. They still were involved sexually, I'm sensing, allegedly. But Bobby Brown made a foolish act when he did not take Whitney Houston back, even though he was lonely for her. Like I said right here, he was unhappy. He still was unhappy when he told her he don't think they should get married. So, just to save face to the public, they kept a relationship private, but they did not. He didn't want to marry her again, but she wanted a commitment again. That's what she wanted. That's the kind of woman Whitney Houston was. She was raised in the church, even though different things might have put her away from her spirituality. She wasn't the type to want to, just sleep around it and not be in a commitment. Ace of Pentacles. It was all about money. Riches. And I'm sensing, yes, like I said, somebody put hands on her and they killed her, like I said earlier in this reading. And it was over money. Riches. They were happy after they killed her. They was happy when they got their money. Riches. Bliss. They thought they was perfect. They thought they was perfect because they got away. They did the perfect murder. Allegedly. Ace of Pentacles saying perfection. So I'm taking that as they made the perfect murder. They did, because they wasn't actually found or paid for what they did. They didn't actually pay the price to go to prison for what they did for Whitney Houston. The person that put hands on her and the people that paid him to kill Whitney Houston, they didn't pay. They didn't get their punishment. So they did the perfect murder. That's why I'm saying perfection, riches, bliss, ecstasy. They used it to get high off of too. Whoever did this. Perfection meaning that they did the perfect murder. Nobody is being punished for it. Nobody was you know what I'm saying? Nobody was punished for it. For actually killing her. They made it seem like an accident. The autopsy for Whitney Houston, I looked it up today. The autopsy, the medical examiner put it on her autopsy as her death as accidental drowning because of cocaine, Xanax, and also because of her heart condition. She had a little bit of a heart condition, not a major heart condition, just a 60%. Something about a heart condition and marijuana. But they didn't put it on her death certificate as a murder. They put it as accidental death. Okay? They didn't even say drowning. But I think one of them said accidental drowning. But they put it allegedly on as a death as accidental. Okay? But like I said, Ace of Pentacles saying money, riches, perfection. They did the perfect murder for her money. They stole her money. They killed her and stole her money. They got high off of it. They got high off her body while she was laying there in that bathtub. They got high off of her body. Some people actually sacrificed her. They possibly ate her, allegedly. And the reason why I'm saying that, because the card saying bliss, ecstasy. They was happy what they did. They got money. I'm gonna put a link to this a channel called Breaking News Today. They did a video about Whitney Houston's death. They said, a lot of people, it's already known. This is fact. When her assistant found her floating in the water, face down in the water in the tub at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, and she the water, they said 6 hours after they found Whitney Houston, the water, they finally tested the water. They didn't even test the water when they found her. They waited 6 hours later that same day, and somebody came and tested the water to see how hot the water was, because Whitney Houston's skin was peeling off of her legs and her back. The water was hot. They said at 6 hours later the water was 93 degrees hot. So that meant if it was still 93 degrees warm, hot, 6 hours later, imagine how hot it was 6 hours before when she was in there. They said the water was scalding hot, that it burned and peeled her skin off her back and her legs. The medical examiners also noted that patches of her back, of her skin was gone. They said patches of her skin was cut off of her back. He didn't say how it was cut off, but he said patches of her skin was missing from her back. Okay? Also, the autopsy said that the inside of her left elbow was a needle point. It was a needle point, allegedly. The autopsy said it was a needle point on the inside of her inner left elbow. So when I heard that, I'm automatically, as a psychic and as a spiritual advisor, tarot card reader, like I said, I have psychic ability also. I automatically, when I heard all of that from the autopsy, I took it, if they first, this is how they possibly did it. Because I already said somebody put hands on her. I already told you that early in the reading. This is how I'm sensing how they did it. Because it said it was a needle point in her inner left elbow. She didn't have no heroin or nothing in her system, so she didn't inject no drugs. Okay, as far as I know. But it was in it. And notice most of the news didn't say nothing about some of these facts. They said something about her in the tub and the drugs she was on, but you notice the major news didn't say nothing about patches of skin being missing from her back, or the water being scalding hot 6 hours later. No, the major news media didn't say nothing about that, and they didn't say nothing about the autopsy showing the needle point on the inside of her left elbow. Okay. But I'm gonna tell you how I feel they actually killed her. Because of that. She was in the tub. Because her assistant said, her assistant told her to go ahead and take a bath because Whitney Houston wasn't feeling well. Her assistant said, go ahead and take a bath. Now, I don't know if her sister had something to do with it, but I'm sensing her sister had something to do with it too. Okay? Everybody around her that day had something to do with her death. Allegedly. And the cards is going to tell you some more when I get into it. It's telling it. The cards are speaking. It sure is. Whitney Houston speaking. Thank you, Whitney. Thank you. Continue to let the truth out. Whitney Houston, I believe, is glad that I'm finally telling the truth on her behalf. Okay, because the truth wasn't actually all the way told. Okay, now how they get it? Like I said, somebody paid a man. Just like I said, it was a man that did it. Remember I said that severity. He was dogmatic. It was a man that did it. That actually put hands on her. Okay, it probably wasn't his idea, Okay, you heard the noise, the sound, confirmation. When you hear a sound like that, beep, beep, that was a message from my phone. That was confirmation. A man actually put hands on her. It had to take somebody with strength to do that to Whitney Houston, because Whitney Houston was ferocious. She had a lot of fire in her. She was feisty. She wasn't just going to lay down like that for nothing. There had to be somebody with some strength that, you know what I'm saying, to hold her down in that tub like that. Okay, but this what happened. I'm sensing, allegedly, after hearing the autopsy report, and about the needle point in the patches of her skin on her back being missing. Okay, allegedly. She in the tub. Everybody know when you take a bath, sometimes you put your arms on the sides of the tub. Somebody went in her room. Somebody gave her access to get. Somebody gave that man access to come in her room. It may have been maybe one or more than one. I'm gonna keep doing the cards in a minute. It may have been more than one that helped the man. Might have been more than one man. Okay. But I'm gonna get more into the reading and we're gonna see. But either way, she was already in the tub. And I doubt she was sitting in scalding hot water. Ain't nobody gonna want to sit in no scalding hot water. And another thing, most of her people said she didn't even like the water or taking baths. She took showers. That's for what another documentary said that. Okay, but I'm gonna put it in the aspect, what if she was in the tub taking a bath? Okay, so if she was actually in the tub, she could have been in the tub with her arms up on the side of the tub. And this is what I'm sensing what happened. She had her arm up. Somebody came in there. Because her assistant told her to take a bath. Okay, so somebody told her to take a bath. That's what the assistant said. Because Whitney told her she wasn't feeling good that day. Her throat was hurt. Her assistant is on record for saying that she told her to take a bath. Her personal assistant told her, Whitney Houston, to take a bath. So Whitney in the tub. And ain't no telling how big the tub was. You know, it was a whole Beverly Hilton hotel. It was probably a big, luxurious tub. Whitney in the tub. She laid back, probably half asleep, feeling good. She buzzed off of her drugs that she was on. Marijuana and some cocaine or whatever. She buzzed, feeling good. She laid back. She finally relaxed in the tub. She put her arm up on the side of the tub. Somebody snuck in there, grabbed her arm, and injected her inside of her elbow. They grabbed her arm. Whitney probably was fighting, trying to snatch her arm back, but this man was so severe. He was strong. Only a man got that kind of strength. Okay? And no woman ain't going to have no strong strength like that. A man had to do it. A man, probably, he grabbed her arm, and she woke up. She won't sleep. She probably laid there relaxed, like I said, feeling good. And I'm sensing the man grabbed her arm, and he had the needle with something in it. Okay, possibly fentanyl. They ain't say nothing about fentanyl back then in 2012, but now it's a big thing. Okay, but I'm sensing that's what it was. Somebody injected her with fentanyl while she in that tub. He grabbed her arm because the autopsy says she had a needle point mark on the inside of her left elbow. When you're in the tub, you put your arms up sometime when you lay back feeling good. You relax. She was relaxed. That man, she probably didn't hear him. Ain't no telling what she probably had music going or what she was doing. She probably didn't hear him. He came in that bathroom in that where the tub, grabbed her arm, injected her. That's where that needle point came from. Injected her with something. I'm sensing possibly fentanyl or something to kill her, or to give her something, or to fill her heart or something. But I'm sensing it was fentanyl. But they didn't. The autopsy probably didn't say that. Okay. They said Benadryl, but it ain't no telling what else. You know, sometimes this was in L.A. It just happened. My name LaLa. Ain't that something? Significance. That's why Whitney Houston want me to tell her story. Okay. She died in L.A., Los Angeles, in the Beverly Hilton Hotel. And you know, medical examiners and people that do autopsy reports, some of them can be paid off. Some of them sell out for money. So some of them will put what they want you, what somebody pay them to put on there, allegedly. Okay, but either way, I'm sensing she died from that needle point, like the autopsy. At least the autopsy man had enough sense. At least he told some of the truth, because he probably loved Whitney Houston too. Everybody knew about Whitney Houston. She was popular all around the world. She sold 170 million albums, and more than that. Imagine all the money she made from that. And they probably took most of the money, and she didn't even know how much money she made. She probably sold 170 billion, not just 170 million. Can't trust some of these white folks. I hate to say it, but it's true. You can't trust people of all. There's people in any color you can't trust no more nowadays. Okay, excuse me. Like I said, I'm an empath. I'm getting upset. Okay, I'm gonna get back to the reader. But I'm sensing that's what happened. She's in there. She They injected her they grabbed her arm, they grabbed her wrist, and they injected her. That's what that needle point came from, they said on the autopsy. They had a needle point. They found it. The autopsy man said it was a needle point on the inside of her left elbow. Okay? On the inside of her left elbow. It was a needle point. They grabbed her arm, and they possibly injected her. It was a man, possibly one or two men. But all it took was one. He grabbed her arm, injected her with that needle. And probably more than one for the lookout. I don't know. But I'm going to get more into it. They injected her with something to start to kill her. Okay? Now, I don't know. It possibly killed her, or possibly just put her half asleep. Because see, fentanyl or heroin, that it can make you where you sleep, but you're still alive. So who knows what kind of drug they injected her with on the inside of her left elbow. Okay. But I'm going to finish the reading, and then I'm going to tell you some more about the patches on her back. I'm going to get more to it. Page of Cups in reverse. Whitney was seducing Bobby, like I said, but he didn't take her proposal. It was an unwanted proposal. Whitney was alone. The people saw she was alone. Men saw she was alone. She was a rich woman. There was other men that offered her love. They were seducing her. They was flattering Whitney Houston before she died. But they was deviation. The Page of Cups in reverse is seeing deviation, seduction, or flattery, over-dependence on loved ones. So this person that was flattering her and seducing her, they were dependent on other people. I'm sensing it might have been Clive Davis that was seducing her. Clive probably been trying to woo her ever since he met her. Clive loved Whitney Houston. He possibly was in love with her, allegedly. He was a flatterer. He flattered her. See, right there. It was a white man that was seducing Whitney Houston. He offered her love, but she didn't take it, and that lost. They ended up stopped being friends because of that. He was mad. Whoever this white man was, he was flattering her. He was deviated though. He was evil. Whitney probably could sense in his spirit that he was evil. She probably sensed his soul that he wasn't right. They was friends, or she thought he was a friend. But he got angry because she refused his advances. She refused his flattery. This white man got angry, whoever he was. They lost friends. They weren't friends no more. 10 of Cups in reverse. They weren't in no love relationship. She didn't have love for this friend that was in love with her. He was angry. 10 of Cups in reverse is saying loss of friendship, unhappiness, rage, pettiness, combat. So this is somebody that was very angry at her too. Rage, combat, strife, differences of opinion. Rage, combat. Listen to that. You hear it? Unhappiness. They was unhappy because they tried to seduce Whitney. She wasn't going for it. Six of Wands in reverse. They was disloyal. They turned on Whitney. Whoever it was, that they was mad that she didn't take his advances. They turned against her. Disloyalty. Short-lived status. Fear. They had fear. They was afraid because they was afraid, possibly because of money. Or they was afraid that they were going to be alone. They was afraid that they couldn't get Whitney and her money. They wanted Whitney. He didn't really, see, it's coming out. He didn't really want her as a love because he was deviated. He wanted her for the money. It's coming out in the cards. See? Disloyalty. Short-lived status. That's how he wanted. He thought he was going to woo her and divorce her and get her money. That's what he thought. Whoever this person was that I'm talking about. Queen of Pentacles. She had plenty of money. Queen of Pentacles. She was comfort. She had comfort. Everything. Luxury. Security. A rich person, but generous and charitable. She was charitable and rich. She helped people. She was generous with her money. She helped her family. She helped everybody. She helped her manager. She even hired her own family to be her manager and work with her. She was generous. The Queen of Pentacles is just saying it. It's saying a rich person, but generous and charitable. A noble soul. She had a noble soul. She has a noble soul because the soul never dies. She has a noble soul. She had grace. She had extreme comfort and luxury. Money. She had dignity. Even though they tried to humiliate her, she still had dignity within her. She felt dignity about herself. She was proud of herself. That's good. Magnificence. Grace. The Empress card. She was a mother. She was a sister. She was a wife. The Empress. She was on her throne. The whole world loved her. She was fertile. She still could have more children. At 48 years old, she still was fertile. Action. She was active. She was getting her career back. She passed 2012. 2009, she came out with an album. That's why it's saying active. She was getting her career back. She was trying to. She did an interview with Oprah Winfrey, 2009. The same year, she came out with her new album. She did that just for publicity for her album with Oprah Winfrey. Oprah kept asking about Bobby Brown. She even had Whitney on camera talking about Bobby Brown. Sometimes would break glass and break stuff when he was angry, or probably about an argument. But she was a mother, a sister. She was a good mother. She was a good sister, a good wife. She was a good friend. She was fertile, fertility. She wanted to be married again. Marriage. That's why I told you. I said, and see this confirmation. That's why I said she wanted to be married again to Bobby Brown. The Empress card saying marriage. God is LaLa. See, I tell you like it is. Give me a like to the video. I tell you like it is. The card's telling it. Yes. Like the video, please. Like it. Like it to help and support the channel. Like it and subscribe. The card's telling you. I told you. Three of Pentacles in reverse. This person got sloppy though. They thought they made the perfect murder, but not really. They was sloppy. Sloppiness. Mediocre. They was a mediocre killer. Or a hitman. He was mediocre. He was sloppy. That's why they thought they did the perfect murder, but it wasn't that perfect because, for one, The people finally realized, wait a minute, the water was scalding hot. How in the world she could take a bath in scalding hot water and the water still scalding 6 hours after her death? So that was a sloppy murder. The truth, some of the truth came out. This person had money problems. The person that paid the hitman had money problems. Somebody paid. I'm saying somebody paid that hitman to do that. Okay. The strength card. Whitney had strength. She had energy. She didn't just fall asleep in that tub. She had strength. She was strong. She still had energy at 48 years old. The strength card saying energy, strength, defiance, action. She was active, very active. She was getting her career back together. It was 3 years after her last album. She was getting back together. She did another motion picture. She was coming back on top with that motion picture, Sparkle. Then you notice a few months after she did the motion picture, then all of a sudden she found dead. Someone killed her, allegedly. The strength card saying control over a situation. She was trying to have control over some kind of situation. She sensed this people was trying to get rid of her and take her money. She was trying to have control over it. She had the control as long as she was alive. And that's what they didn't like. See, she had control over her money. She had control over her daughter and her finances. She left the money for her daughter. That's who the money, all that. She was rich. That's where the money was supposed to go, to her daughter, Bobby Christina. That's why they killed Bobby Christina too, allegedly, because Bobby Christina inherited Whitney Houston's money, her wealth. She gave it to her child because she wasn't married. She was divorced, so she left her money to her child. The strength card saying control over a situation. She had control over her finances. And the people around her knew that she had control over it, and she wasn't going to give all her money to them. She was taking care of them, but she was giving it to them when she wanted to, or how much she wanted. They wanted control over her money. They wanted as much money that they can get. They didn't want just that little bit she was helping them with. It wasn't enough. She was helping and paying for everything. She was even paying their bills and stuff. And I did, okay, now it's coming. I'm sensing Pat Houston, see, because it says it was somebody that was sloppy. Pat Houston, there you go, confirmation is coming. That you hear the sound? Confirmation. That's what it was. I'm sensing Pat Houston is possibly she the one allegedly that paid the hitman. Pat Houston and other people around Pat Houston that Pat Houston know. All of them was joined in on it. I can't say who all, but I had some ideas. I'm not gonna mention their names, but I'm gonna mention her name because she was no longer Whitney Houston's manager no more. Whitney had a new record company. No, okay, wait a minute. I take that back. She was still with Arista. She still was with Arista, but she was having like new people in her influence with her music. She didn't want the same stuff no more. She being defiant in her music. That's why I say defiance for the strength card. Defiance, action. She possibly was trying to get rid of Arista. See what I'm saying? She wanted a new. You know, she's trying to get rid of Clive Davis as her record label. She was trying to get rid of Arista, the record label. And by the way, the definition for Arista, see, excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied, I'm getting upset, I'm an empath. Clive Davis was was the owner of Arista, allegedly. Clive Davis, you know, was with Whitney Houston ever since she was a teenager. She was working with Arista Records ever since she was a teenager. And she possibly, I'm sensing, was trying to get away from Arista and possibly go to a different record label, possibly a black record label. And they was like, wait a minute, no, we can't let Whitney Houston go with all this money and give all this her money and make some black record label rich with all her talent. Clive Davis was possibly one of the ones too, allegedly, along with Pat Houston, to come up to get some hitman to kill Whitney Houston. That's why he had a pre-party for the Grammy. It was a pre-party, meaning it was before the Grammys, and it was Clive Davis's party. It was planned, allegedly. She had control over her money, and say control over a situation, fortitude, courage. She had the courage. She was ready to move on. She was ready to move on from Arista Records and Clive Davis, and she had already left Pat Houston as her manager. Pat Houston wasn't her manager no more. Whitney Houston was dealing with other people. She wanted her music to change. She still was young. She wasn't that old at 48. She had conviction and fortitude. Strength card saying fortitude, conviction, control over a situation. She had money over her money. That was the situation. That was the whole problem. Over her money and her fame. That's what it was. King of Cups card. And I'm sensing Clive Davis was in love with her. Sam, the King of Cups. He was the one that offered marriage. So that's possibly why Clive Davis allegedly was working possibly with Pat Houston allegedly to get rid of her and possibly play the hitman allegedly and also the Illuminati had something to do with it. And the reason why I say Illuminati is because she was laying in that they went on with their party, their pre-Grammy party, even though they knew Whitney Houston was in that tub dead. She was found dead in the afternoon by her assistant. Okay, now think about it. A personal assistant, they didn't make much money, so they could have been behind it too, because it had to be somebody close to Whitney Houston to get close enough to let somebody in there. And also, I'm sensing her bodyguard might have had something to do with it too. I'm sensing they all got together and they said, look, we're going to do this. Don't say nothing. You're going to get some money. You know Whitney Houston rich. We're going to give you this amount, percentage of the money. And the only reason why they used them people, I'm sensing allegedly, is because they was around her. Her personal assistant was around her that day when she was found dead in the Beverly Hilton Hotel. Her personal assistant was around her. Pat Houston was around her. Okay? At that time. And her bodyguard, I forgot his name. I think they said his name was Ray. I can't remember, but I'm going to say Ray for now. I think his name was Ray. She had that bodyguard for years, that they said, on her, for her for years. I seen on the video, Kim Burrell was one of her good friends. Whitney Houston called Kim Burrell before she died. She called her saying, where you at, sissy? She was so close to her as a friend, she called Kim Burrell, the gospel singer, her sister. She was her friend like a sister to Whitney. She called Kim Burrell because she had people coming. It was supposed to be a celebration for Clive Davis' party and the Grammys. So it was supposed to be a party, a ruse. It was a party for Clive Davis. And some kind of celebration. I'm sensing he made up this reason for a party. Okay? And his excuse was the Grammys. Okay? But it was for him. It was Clive Davis' party. It was a Clive Davis pre-Grammy party. That's what it was called. Clive Davis pre-Grammy party. Clive Davis was the owner of Arista Records. Okay? That's why she was going, because like I said, she was loyal. She was a loyal person. She was a good friend. She was loyal to Clive Davis because he signed her on a major records with Arista ever since she was a teenager, and he helped her get rich, and so she was loyal to him. Wherever he asked her to do, she did it for him. That's why if he said I want you to do this album, I want you to be here for this party, she did it for Clive. Okay? Allegedly. Now this person, like I said, the King of Cups, this person, he was a businessman. King of Cups, businessman. professionalism. That's what it's saying. Businessman, learned person. He was creative, responsibility and creative. He had a lot of this person that was behind paying the hitman. One of them, because I'm sensing it was more than one person that was behind getting this hitman or hitmans. The King of Cups is saying this person had responsibility, creativity, a learned person, professional, a businessman. They was even religious, an artist, a considerate person, generosity. He was very generous. Clive Davis comes off as considerate and generous. He's very rich. He's a businessman. Okay? But I'm sensing he was one of the ones, okay? Because you got to think, why would Clive want to do this if Whitney Houston helped make him rich after all these years? Okay, it's coming out in the reading. The reading is saying it. If you don't know, watch the video. Watch my video again. Just like I said earlier. There you go, confirmation. Just like I said earlier. He was seducing her. Just like I said right here, the Page of Cups in reverse. He was seducing her, but Whitney didn't take to his advances. He probably was seducing her for years. And since Bobby was out the picture, he started seducing her some more before she died. And he even possibly asked for her hand in marriage, or possibly saying, "I give you this, I give you that, if you just be mine and nobody else." Whitney was like, Whitney didn't want that. Whitney wanted her black man. Okay, she wanted Bobby. I said that earlier. Bobby turned her down because Bobby was thinking about what everybody else might say if he got back with her. He listened to the wrong people. Like I said, an unwanted proposal, stalemate. He made a foolish act, just like I say, failure. He failed because he was trying to hold her up, and Whitney said, "No, you ain't gonna hold me up." Okay, the King of Cups. This person, artist. See, Clive Davis is an artist, a businessman. Okay, so what I'm saying. Okay, I'm gonna tell you how they did it. Like I said, they all got together. They probably had a meeting. Clive Davis was probably mad because he knew that she was gonna leave his record company, and he wanted to still keep control over Whitney. He had control over her for years, for a long time, ever since she was a teenager. He had control over her, what she do, how she dressed, what she do, how she act. What she say, because for the record label, Arista. And like I was going to say, Arista, check this out. Arista, the definition of Arista means a prominent bristle on the antenna of some dipterous insects. A prominent bristle on the antenna of some dipterous insects. So Arista is like a big antenna, a part of a big part of the antenna on an insect. Okay, so that is very significant for this reading. I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. That definition for Arista is significant. Every words, everything has a meaning in this world. That's why the tarot cards lay things out, because the universe is bigger and is more smarter and stronger than all of us here on this puny earth. Okay, the universe is wide. The universe, even though people made words and languages, words and languages mean things. Names mean things. In the spiritual and in the spirit level, words and names mean something. It's very significant. Just like this definition I told you of Arista. I'm going to say it again. A prominent, and Arista was prominent, a big major company. A prominent bristle on the antenna of some dipterous insects. Okay? It's an antenna on some insects. Okay, so this is what it was. I'm sensing. Like I told you, I'm sensing allegedly. So we can get to this Whitney Houston tarot card reading. What really happened about Whitney Houston's death. Allegedly. I'm sensing. And my psychic ability, this is what happened. In the tarot cards, this was I'm putting it all together. My psychic ability and also what the tarot cards and the oracles is telling me, and what Whitney Houston downloading to me. Because I said my prayers and all that even before the video. I spoke to Whitney even before the video. Okay, this is what happened. And I'm sensing, in my opinion, all these people got together. Because, see, remember, Pat was there. Pat was there. But Pat, all of a sudden, people say Pat wasn't around, couldn't be found. Whitney was asking, where's Pat? Pat Houston could not be found all of a sudden. Any other time, you know, you could see Pat Houston right behind Whitney Houston. She was her manager, okay? Pat possibly knew that Whitney, because like I said, Whitney was trying to, she wanted to leave Arista Records. Whitney was trying to leave her as a manager. They weren't going to get her money and fame no more, okay? Clive didn't like that she was losing control over Whitney. Clive didn't like, because Whitney probably, you know, possibly was telling him that this is what she was going to do. She was going to go in a different direction. And she did. She started making different songs, different albums with different producers. And Clive got jealous that she was getting more fame from the black community again. Black community loved her, but like I said, they started loving her even more when she did that movie Sparkle. Her fame was coming back. She was coming back. See what I'm saying? Her fame was coming back. And Whitney loved that she was getting her fame from the black community. And remember, Clive Davis earlier said her first song, he said it was too black. Clive Davis didn't like her being black. Clive Davis didn't like her being too black with the black record label. See what I'm saying? Or with the black music, sounding too black. Clive Davis didn't like her being around black people. Only person he probably didn't mind her being around black was her own family. That's the only people that he didn't mind her being around. But anything else, Clive Davis probably was fighting her. But Whitney had courage and strength. Like I said, Whitney wasn't going to let... She was tired of Clive controlling her life ever since she was a teenager. Whitney, 48 years old, she was getting tired of Clive controlling her in every issue. So that, allegedly, that's one of the reasons why Clive was in on it. And then Pat, like I said, Pat possibly was jealous of Whitney all along because she was following Whitney. She was her manager. Pat was all in her business. Pat was not her blood family. Pat was a sister-in-law. Her brother, at the time possibly, allegedly, was still addicted to cocaine. So her brother might have been possibly in on it because her brother was married to Pat. And Pat, the only way Pat was going to let that go down, the only way her brother was going to let that go down is if he was in on it. And Pat knew that she couldn't do that without her husband knowing it. So she probably talked to him and said, this what offer I got, we can get this how many millions of dollars if something happened to Whitney, if we can do this and that. Allegedly. Now that's what I'm thinking. Because you notice, like I said, December 23rd, they did an interview. Look it up about the motion picture that is coming out. It's out now. December 23rd, they put the motion picture out. Pat and Whitney Houston brother, I forgot his name. Whitney Houston brother and Pat Houston did an interview about the motion picture. They putting it out now. Okay, December 23rd, 2022, her motion picture came out. They're making a movie about her. That's why I'm doing this tarot card reading, because they use a Whitney again. And now they're trying to defame her name with all this lesbian stuff when Whitney was not known to be no lesbian. Whitney was known to be a mother. Whitney was known to be a wife for many years. Okay? Whitney did not act like no lesbian, or if she was, she might have stopped. If she was in the past when she was young as a teenager, I'm sensing she probably stopped. Some people do things as children, and then when they get older, they stop. Just like the Bible says, when you get grown, you let go of childish things when you become an adult. Okay, but anyway, like I said, some of these people, they knew that they was going to lose control over Whitney. Pat had control over Whitney. Her brother wanted more money. Whitney won't giving him the money that he used to give, because Whitney knew that he was wasting it. The reader said somebody was being wasteful. Now, allegedly, Clive Davis was mad because Whitney won't give him no sex, and Whitney would not mess with him no more, possibly like he wanted to. She turned down his advances. The Illuminati might have been in on it too, because they didn't want Whitney to make another black record label rich like Arista record labels. They didn't want no black major record label. It's only a few black record labels that's big out here. There's plenty of record labels now, but none that's big. And when I mean big like the major record labels, like Arista and the other big record labels. Okay? They not big as far as like billions of dollars rich big. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. They make billions, millions of dollars. But Whitney, her talent was so good, and her fame is so wide known. If she had took all her fame to a black major label and kept making movies with the black movie companies like she did with Sparkle, with the black actors in there, that would have helped a lot of black people come up and to be rich. But guess what? The Illuminati don't want that. Just like I said, ever since slavery, they want to have control over African Americans. They don't want us to get too rich. And if we do, they do something to sneaky to stop us. Just like they did in Rosewood. Just like they did in the Oklahoma massacre. And other things in slavery history, just like they did when black people get to a certain extent, they just like the Black Panthers and other movements, and Martin Luther King and things like that. When black people get to a certain extent, a certain level, it's always some kind of Illuminati or somebody in the government or something allegedly that cuts them down right in their prime. Just like they did Tupac Shakur too. Okay, allegedly, but look, this is where I'm saying what they did. Like I said, I'm not gonna name them again. I already named the people. These groups of people possibly got together. They said, okay, we're gonna get this. We're gonna get their money. We're gonna get her money. We're gonna get this. But we got to work together because Whitney don't let too many people around her. Okay, the bodyguard too. Remember, because like I said, I was trying to tell you, Kim Burrell, she was Whitney Houston's friend. She said on the interview about her death, she said she don't understand why Ray wasn't there. She basically she was saying that when she showed up, everything was over with, and she saw how in the hallway her bodyguard that's usually with her, she knows about the bodyguard, and I'm assuming his name's Ray. Correct me if his name is not Ray. Okay, but from what I heard, I believe they said that her bodyguard that she had for years, his name was Ray. And I'm going to say Ray for now just for this reading, allegedly. Kim Burrell allegedly said that Ray was her bodyguard, and whenever Whitney Houston got a hotel room, Whitney always made sure that her bodyguard Ray had a connecting room in every hotel room for years. He was her bodyguard. He was her guard, security guard. So if that man had a connecting room, ain't no way that would have went down, because he's supposed to be watching over her. You see what I'm saying? Now some people could say, "Oh, well, she in the tub, he can't watch now." Well, he would have known something after a while if she didn't come out that bathroom. Somebody could have revived her or something if she really did actually drown like that. If it really was an accident. He was her bodyguard. He's supposed to be on watch. And he was on watch that day. But evidently he wasn't there. So people said Pat Houston left. She wasn't there. That's why Whitney was calling everybody like, where you at? Where you at? She called Kim Burrell. Kim said Whitney called her too. Where you at? Kim said, I'm on the way. Whitney didn't even know Kim was already landing in Los Angeles. Whitney thought she was still on the way out of town. Kim was already landing. She was almost there when they killed her. Okay? When they killed Whitney. So, but Kim saying it. Excuse my language. Bless Kim Burrell's soul. Keep her protected, Lord. Kim Burrell said that she don't understand what happened because her bodyguard usually has an adjoining room. But either way, after it happened, Kim Burrell said when she got there, Whitney was already there. Pat called her too. Kim Burrell said Whitney called her first. Said, "Sissy, where you at, Sissy?" She was in it. Kim Burrell said Whitney was in a good mood. She was happy. She was bubbly. She was like, "Sissy, where you at?" And she was ready for her to come because see, Whitney was alone. Whitney did not like being alone. She probably knew something was gonna happen to her. That's why she was calling everybody to come to her. Nobody would come. She called. Either they were coming or they weren't there. Okay, but she called people. You can watch her documentaries and witnesses. People were saying she was calling everybody, asking them to come to her. Come to the pre-celebration. It was happening in the afternoon, daytime, whatever. But she calling everybody, right? This what I'm sensing. My opinion, allegedly. And from also, it's not my opinion, it's fact. People have said it. It's on the videos, the documentaries. Kim Burrell was on the video, one of them. You can look it up on YouTube when she said something about Whitney Houston. Let me see if I got the video what she said. Okay, but either way, it's on YouTube. I seen it. Kim Burrell said when she did finally get there, because Whitney was calling her, Kim, where you at? Where you at? Kim said when she finally got there, she the people told her she was there. Okay, now wait a minute. Even before she got there, this is what Kim Burrell said. Kim said Whitney called her first. It was like, "Sissy, where you at? Where you at?" And then Kim was like, "I'm here. I'm in LA. I'm here." And then Whitney was like, "Come on, hurry up." And then it was also noted that Whitney was calling Pat Houston too. But Pat wasn't answering the phone. Mighty strange. Pat was in the hotel though, but she wasn't answering her phone. And Pat, it was known allegedly that Whitney called Pat Houston too. It was like, "Where you at, Pat? Come on, where you at?" But she was asking her, okay, this way. Yeah, Pat did finally get. Whitney got Pat on the phone, and she said she wanted some cupcakes. It's on video. The Pat Houston said Whitney did ask Pat to go get her some cupcakes while she getting ready for the party for Clive Davis. Pat had the nerve to say, "I'm not getting you no cupcakes because you got to put on a dress for the party." That's what Pat Houston said. Okay, I seen it on the YouTube video. She said it out her mouth that's what she told Whitney on the phone. What kind of mess is that? If she's her manager, she's supposed to get whatever Whitney wants. So that right there show that Pat had control over Whitney Houston, and she wanted more control. Okay, because why else you ain't gonna get the poor woman some cupcakes? As skinny as she was, she should have been glad to get Whitney Houston some cupcakes. Okay, but this what happened. She said that what's her name? Pat Houston said that Whitney did call her. So Whitney she finally got Pat on the phone first, because I heard other reports that Pat wasn't answering. She called Pat Houston several times that day. She called her several times, allegedly, and Pat wasn't answering. Then she finally got Pat on the phone, and she asked her to get her some cupcakes. Pat wouldn't even get her no cupcakes. Pat left out the room. I don't know why she left. Check out the videos. It's in there why she left. Her excuse why she left Whitney alone like that. But she basically she was saying she was in the same hotel. Okay, but she left her alone. Whitney was alone by herself. She was calling everybody, "Where you at?" She was alone. Bobby Christina was in the hotel too, but I'm not sure where Bobby Christina was at the time. I'm sensing Bobby Christina did not have nothing to do with her death. I'm sensing that Bobby Christina was somebody got her busy or told Bobby Christina to go do something or whatever. Okay. So, one moment. So she told her, she calling everybody, where you at, where you at? Okay, now I'm sensing this is the plan. This is what they plan. So I'm sensing, like I said, the bodyguard, he must have had something to do with it, allegedly. Pat Houston, Clive Davis, allegedly. And I believe some people of the Illuminati had something to do with it too, because of the autopsy said her back, her skin was missing off of her back. The water was so hot that her skin was coming off her legs. It didn't come off. It was like hanging. Her skin was like hanging. They had a name for it, a medical name. Can't think of the medical name for it. But they said her skin slipped, like her skin slipped from the muscle on her leg. It was just like, it was, like it was drooping. That's the word I'm trying to say. They said her skin on her legs was drooping because the hot scalding water. It was so hot. Okay, remember I said it was 6 hours later after her death, the water was still at 98 degrees. Water don't stay that hot for 6 hours. I know because I done took plenty of baths. If you don't get in there after a while, after an hour, the water's cold. Okay, or it cool. It ain't going to be 93 degrees 6 hours later. So imagine how hot it was 6 hours before. Okay, the autopsy said the back of her legs was drooping. The skin was drooping because of the scalding hot water. And the autopsy said patches, allegedly, of her back was missing. It was cut off of her back. Okay, so that's why I'm sensing the Illuminati had something to do with that too, because the Illuminati was behind it also. They probably didn't pay the hitman. It probably want their idea to get rid of her, or maybe it was because, like I said, they didn't want her to help another black companies get rich, like the big record labels like Arista. So they probably some people in the Illuminati allegedly probably was behind it too, because of jealousy and trying to keep the black community down, and black companies, they didn't want them to get that rich. They don't mind them getting a little rich, but not to where everybody get rich. They didn't want that. And Whitney was so famous, she could help everybody get rich if she wanted to, because of her fame and her businesses, and her charity. That's what the card said. She was charitable. She was generous. Okay. So they was probably behind it. The bodyguard too, because I'm saying he was in it too, because I'm sensing ain't no way he would be gone that long for to not even recognize that she needed some help in that bathroom. Okay? Or not hear nothing from her. She was calling everybody, where you at, where you at? Okay? So like I said, I'm sensing whoever it was, somebody paid them people, all of them got together, they plotted it. Now, the Illuminati probably came to Clive Davis first, but I'm sensing Clive went on ahead and they said okay, because Clive was mad that Whitney won't give him no P, you know what. And Clive kept declaring his love for Whitney, but he was seducing her, but she wouldn't take it. Like I said, she won't take his advances. Okay? And so they paid, all of them together, got together, they planned it, and they planned to keep it quiet. And they planned their excuses and done all of that. And they allegedly, and they said, this what's gonna happen. But you got this what's gonna happen. And the people that was at the hotel with it they was the main part of it. And they knew that it was a hitman that was gonna come in there. Okay, they didn't know what he was gonna do, but they knew he was gonna come in there and do it. And what I say, I'm not gonna say the word, but you know what, to Whitney Houston. But what happened was, when they injected her in her arm and all of that. She probably fought the hitman, but a man could be very strong, especially if he was a big man, a big muscle. That man grabbed her. He knew that he couldn't kill her without evidence because she would fight, and he didn't want a lot of blood evidence and scratches. So he injected her. Somebody probably told him to do it. He injected her so that way he can render her helpless. Injected her, that she had the needle point on the inside of her elbow. She was rendered helpless to where she passed out. Possibly dead, or she passed out. Whether it was fentanyl, heroin, or what. Okay? The medical examiners was probably paid off not to say what she was injected with. But one of them was nice enough, at least he was nice, I can't even say nice, but one of them had enough sense to know if he going to do his job, do it right. At least he did say about the needle point. He did say he found a needle point on the inside of her elbow. But he didn't say all of what was injected in her system. It had to be something that was injected in her system for that needle point to be on her arm. He didn't say that she had heroin. So it wasn't no heroin in her system. It was marijuana and cocaine, from what they said allegedly in the autopsy. And what I think what happened with the patches of skin off of her back. Just like I said, these people were sloppy. They were sloppy. They were dirty. It's saying it. Three of Pentacles in reverse, saying sloppiness, lower quality. They were thinking with their lower nature. They weren't thinking with no high nature. They were sloppy. They were dirty. They were dirty people to do that to her. They were lower quality people to do that to her. Money problems, they're saying. Lack of skill. They had money problems. So they were very dirty to do that. And this man that took the money to do it, he was dirty too. Sloppiness. He was sloppy. Okay, they all were sloppy because they think they made the perfect murder. In some senses, they did get away with the perfect M. But in some senses, they didn't. Because common sense would tell anybody. How in the world the water was so hot like that? Why was the water so hot? Just think about it. And about the patches off of her back. You can look it up. There's people out in California that buy human meat. They got markets and grocery stores in California for people to eat people. They sell human meat. If you don't believe me, look it up. I've seen it and I heard it in the on the videos. I forgot what video, where I heard it from, but I seen it on the TV, on the video. Possibly it might have been on YouTube or some kind of video, but I seen the interview. It was a documentary of people, they call themselves vampires. They drink blood. Devil worshippers. Witches, evil witches. They drink blood. They drink human blood. Just like they, supposedly the Illuminati, allegedly, they drink human blood. They eat human flesh, which is a sin. It's wrong. And if you don't know, watch my other channel, Sister La Quick. Sister SISTALAQUICK. That's my other channel. I do Bible studies also. You can see one of my Bible studies I say, it says in the Bible, it is a sin for humans to eat human flesh. That is a big sin. The God did not want humans to eat human flesh. He said you can eat any other animal that's walking around on this earth, but not human flesh. It's in the Bible. Okay? Check out my other channel. Subscribe. Subscribe for people having to subscribe to this channel. Goddess LaLa. Subscribe. Support the channel. Also, like I said, I'm pausing, I'm thinking and getting more downloads. So, it's like I said, yes, it's known. It's known, it's widely known that now they're trying to normalize it. That's what they want to normalize it, but they know it's not normal, so they keep it hidden. That's why the news reports, you didn't hear nothing about no needle point in her left elbow, even though it was on the autopsy. That's because Illuminati got control over the major news reports, allegedly. So that's why they told them, don't put everything about the autopsy. They said, just put about the pills and her being in the tub. And in the excuse me, not the pills. They said just put in there about the Xanax and in the marijuana and cocaine. Don't put nothing about the hot water, the scalding water. Don't put nothing in there about the needle point in her elbow. They said don't put that on the news. They couldn't tell the med examiner exactly what to say because the med examiner he put what he wanted to. At least he did put about the needle point and the patches of skin off her back. Okay. But the Illuminati had got control of the media, allegedly, and that's why they didn't say because I watched the news. I was like, what happened to it? That's why the news, not one news report except for what I heard today on the documentary, and this is on. If you don't believe me, the autopsy report is on this channel, a YouTube channel called Breaking News Today. It's a channel called Breaking News Today on YouTube. They spoke about the needle point being in the autopsy. They spoke about the hot water and the patches of skin off her back. Watch it before they remove it because the Illuminati got a lot to do with social media too. Allegedly. But I'm going to speak out and tell the truth. God got my back. I'm Goddess LaLa. Okay? And so, one moment. Yes, so that's what I'm sensing. The Illuminati allegedly had something to do with it. And why would they do that before the Grammys? Like I said, there's vampires, there's devil worshippers, vampires, Illuminati. Allegedly, they eat flesh, they drink blood because they think it's a sacrifice. They think they can gain the strength of the person that they eating and drinking their blood, and they because they may not have the strength themselves. Just like this card say, mediocre, lower quality. They know they're mediocre. They know they lower quality. They know they not a star like Whitney Houston was. They know they don't have high quality like she was. So they probably say, okay, she had enough fame. We're not gonna let her go and help these other black people get rich. It's time to let it go. And they probably came to Clive Davis about it allegedly. And Clive said, okay, yeah, you're right, because Clive knew that she was gonna lose some money when he lost Whitney Houston, and he knew because Whitney was leaving through Arista Records allegedly, and Clive knew that she was his money ticket for years ever since she was 19. She helped Arista to keep going. Because some major companies probably would have been lost money. Arista kept going ever since the 80s. They still was making money. Clive's still making money. And you notice he don't age well. And that's another thing. I mean, he's aging, but he's not aging as fast as you would think. And that's another thing. That's why they eat people's body allegedly and drink their blood, because they drinking people's hormones, the melanin. That melanin allegedly gives them energy and strength. If you don't know, look up human growth hormones. People take it. The rich people, allegedly, they take it. It's rich. The rich people take human growth hormones, HGH. That's what it is, HGH. Look it up, HGH, human growth hormones. They call themselves like they putting it in pills, but some of them they doing it more than the pills. They want the actual flesh in the blood, human growth hormones. They got the nerve to put it in pills, and they shouldn't. I think that's wrong too, to even put human growth hormones in there. And I got my opinions what's in there. I'm not gonna get into all that right here, but you already know where I'm going with that. What's in it? You know what's in it. Okay, if they can eat the people, then you know they can put them in the pills too. Okay, and that's why America's being punished so bad. You can notice right now, people ain't freezing cold up there, tornadoes, things like that. The Lord is judging America for the evilness that they do, allegedly. There ain't no alleged. The Lord know, but I got to say it to protect my channel. He knows the evilness that they do. We may not see it all, but the Lord sees everything. Mother Nature's angry. The Lord, God's angry. When you see that's why the freezing temperatures. People saying it's the coldest it ever been. New York snowed out. People dying with no electricity. Electricity cut off because of the snow blizzards. The snow so heavy and the winds get so hard and heavy and freezing cold that the electricity was cut off. In New York, almost every state in America, the electricity cut off because of the high cold winds that we had right before Christmas. And that's why it happened right before Christmas, because Pat Houston and her husband, had the nerve to release Whitney Houston video right before Christmas. And the Lord know possibly what happened to her, allegedly. And the Lord was angry at Pat Houston and the Illuminati and everything all together. There's a whole lot more going on than just Whitney Houston. It's a lot that the Lord's angry about. And then when they brought up Whitney Houston's name, you don't disrespect the dead. When you disrespect the dead, that's a sin too. And then that's why they got in the court system. If people defile a dead body, that's a crime. You can go to prison for defiling a dead body. But then they do it behind the scenes, and they don't want people to know that they actually sacrificing and eating people. But they know they're committing a crime. But they get away with it because they're rich. Just like I say. Because they rich and they want other people's riches. They want other people's riches. That's why they sacrifice them. They get their riches. They get their energy. That's what they wanted. That's why they had the party. They said Whitney Houston was in the tub. They left her in that tub like that, investigating her murder, or allegedly murder or accidental drowning, allegedly. They was investigating her. They left her in the tub. They didn't even take her out. They left her in that tub, and they went on and had their pre-Grammy party. Clive Davis, they went on and had a party trying to act like they didn't know what was happening. Now, some of the people that came to the Clive Davis pre-Grammy party probably didn't know Whitney was up there dead. But by then, a lot of people probably already got the word. And some people probably knew it in advance that she was possibly going to die up there in that Beverly Hilton hotel, allegedly. And they was waiting for her to die so they can go up there and sacrifice and eat of her flesh, allegedly. And that's the end of this tarot card reading for Whitney Houston. Okay, one more. I'm going to give some more. I said I was going to give some Goddess LaLa cards and confirmations about this reading. I pick it randomly for confirmations on this reading. Whitney Houston, give us some confirmation cards for the people that still skeptical about my tarot card reading and what you got to say, Whitney Houston. See, spice it up. Romance. It was about romance. Just like I said, Clive Davis was romancing her. He was flattering her. He tried to spice it up. She didn't want the romance. See? F-U-C-K. They possibly did that to her body too while she was in the tub. They possibly ate her allegedly, and they did sexual acts on her while they was in the Illuminati having a party. Call themselves. They probably was going upstairs because see the what you call it? The Clive Davis pre-Grammy party was in the same hotel building. So that's why they planned it that way, allegedly, to have the party there and for Whitney to be in the same hotel. Because why else would they have the party at a hotel? He could have had the party at some other place. But he had it at a hotel knowing that Whitney would be in the same hotel room as the same hotel that they was having a party in. You got to think about that too. The cards are saying what I'm saying. It's confirming what I said. She was in there naked. They found her naked. Illuminati do things like that. They do orgies and stuff, allegedly. They do orgies. They for some reason, I don't know what reason, I'm thinking in their mind that the reason is for some kind of spiritual energy, to gain more energy, or to absorb the person's energy, or to give energy to their evil spirits that they worshiping. They possibly did that to her to give spirits to the evil entities. What else about Whitney Houston and this Whitney Houston reading? See, I told you. Her brother Allegedly, her brother possibly had something to do with it. Victory. They had the victory because they got away with it and they ain't paid for it. What else? But guess what? Whitney Houston got a strong union now. Strong union now. Hallelujah. Yes. Whitney Houston, she's strong. She with the Lord now. I told you. She was chosen. Like I said, 14 years old was with the age that she first got on the record. On the record. Yeah, 14. 7-7. 7-7. 7 the Lord's number. She got a strong union with God now. Whitney Houston fine. She wanted me to get this message out to you. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.